So Cam calls me up, and he said, I heard you have bars. And I said, I don't have any bars. No, I don't know where you heard that. He said, well, I saw it on your Instagram. Somebody says that you used to rap. Is that true? I'm like, no, that's not true at all. He did not believe me. And that's why we're here. Last chance on the mic to prove that I got heat. My style's discreet, con you like Crete. Meant to blow your mind that you ain't heard before. Like the Yankees lineup when the salary's low. Call me four-wheel drive, cause I'm all terrain. I got many different ways to rap about the same thing. It's not a hoax, my approach is different from the few white folks that broke through the business. Move maker, rule breaker. Catch us in the newspaper, causing attention just like a new Laker. Introduce myself as fate, style is rude, smile is cool, delivery smooth. Artillery, cause I'm a lyricist too. What happened to street hop? Chillin' on the corner, just waiting to beatbox. Now my boys is like D-Vox with their heat cock. Posted on the block with their rocks and Reeboks. And I do this for the kids in suburbia. And I do this for the thugs that'll tie you down and murder you. Rockin' sweatsuits or dress up in three-piece. Pleats on Wall Streets or be clacking with three heats. Now listen, please don't label me as one of them. They don't want me as fake, they want me little Eminem. I'm not Bubba, Beastie Boys or even Everlast. That polished new gimmick that everybody is us. Bo, I know, now changing politics. My mission is making hits and I'm out to rock shows. And Cam and Mase about to change the industry. You don't have to smoke weed or even drink some Hennessy. The sinus, we ain't nearly vanilla, cause never that. We smoking more than fiends with the pocket full of crack or a hot guy. Hot tracks for a meal. I ain't quite like the unit, but I'm looking for a deal. That was fun. What'd I do? I thought I was supposed to be comfortable.
Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Yo, welcome back to It Is What It Is. Today's show is sponsored by The Gang. Yeah, Underdog Fantasy, my motherfucking niggas. Now, the app's available in over 30 states. New York, California, Texas, just to name a few. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100. Make sure you download the app and hit the link in the bio to support the show. I'm Cameron Giles, joined by my guest. You may know him as M.A$E. Dollar. Murder. Or you may know him as the guy who snitched on me when I was running around the reservoir and told our coach that I wasn't doing the fucking laps like I was supposed to be doing the lap. Murder, what up, man?
You did good, but I'm not a guest.
No, I didn't say I said a guest.
Yeah, you said.
My bad. Our analyst. My bad. I was so focused on getting to the end. I was trying to get to the end.
Touch of that murder, you losing your mind.
I wanted to make sure I get the snitch part at the end. The nigga told on me because Rich Parker reached out to me and we've been blaming this on Wayne Fletcher for 30 years. Come to find out it was murder. I feel you though, Murder. It's all good, man.
You supposed to get that nigga the elbow.
Yeah. You supposed to turn all the way to the left, nigga. To me, the left hand elbow. And filling in for me, Trysta Krick. White, what's the sweet tea you want to call her?
I like sweet tea.
She says she's a little more spicy than
she's
sweet.
Spicy, but
We'll add a little tagine to the spice.
Tagine. I love that word. I love that. Vocab is tough.
She wanted to go tagine on her, man. Well, look, we're going to start the show off today with, the NBA agreed to a deal with Amazon. They told TNT and them niggas, pack it the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here. Once that lawsuit was going through, I said, something's going to happen. Murder. Do you think this is a good look for the NBA?
To start off, I think this is, I don't want to backtrack what I said the last time. The last time I said I thought it was not so good idea because you're so used to seeing TNT. But when I did my research, and you know I'm going to do my research, I got the know-it-alls around me. So people are telling me all this pertinent information. And what I came to the knowledge of knowing is that this might end up being a good idea, even though before I thought it wouldn't be because they have plans. What's the guy, my guy named Jay? Jay running the sports up there in Amazon. He got a plan, killer. He said not only are they going to take it from TNT, they're going to actually try to hire everybody that was on inside the NBA. So with that being stated, it might be a great idea. And who knows? They might bring Kill up there. They might bring Kill and Mase up there. They might bring Mase and Kill up there. They might bring Trish up there. They might bring the Stat Baby up there. And if they got plans to go in a new direction, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge that? And it seemed like they're splitting the time. So it's not just they're making this rapid change where it's just dissolving everything with TNT, because from the information that I received from very reliable sources is that they're going to be splitting 6 of the 11 games. So let's say if there's a finals coming up in the next 11 years, 6 of those 11 years, they're going to split it with other networks. So they're not getting all of the games. They're not getting all of the finals. Even in the finals, they made a deal where they're going to be able to do also 6 out of the 11 years. So it's going to be a gradual process, but I'm more apt to know which years they're taking, because they may take the years where, like say this year they had the draft and the draft wasn't so crazy. They may say, y'all could have that year and we'll take next year. But I want to hear what Trish got to say.
I think what's really interesting in terms of like what it means for the health of the NBA, you can see really what Adam Silver wants to do, which is try to figure out a way to reach the most amount of fans globally and do it in a way where they're not just getting all cable and streaming partners. So NBC fills that void because even if you don't have cable, even if you don't have streaming, you can get that for free. Peacock, there's NFL games there anyway. There's a lot of people on Peacock. Amazon's interesting because maybe not so many people, with NFL and NBC and Peacock, but Amazon just is interesting because if you have Amazon Prime, you get the Prime Video for free, and that's in a whole lot of countries, and that's what Adam Silver wants to do. And to me, it's like, honestly, was up to TNT to negotiate in the exclusive rights negotiation portion, and they said, listen, like, we don't need the NBA, and Adam Silver was like, bet, you're not going to get it, and now they're going to end up in a lawsuit. And I think it's really good for fans. It's good for us in media as well because it opens up a whole new pasture of opportunities for us. Whereas if TNT kept the rights, like they're going to keep their broadcast. And when you go to Inside the NBA, what happens when you go like 30, 40 minutes before Inside the NBA? It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They don't care. They're not doing round the coverage wall to wall. So I think it's going to be better because NBC is going to build it out, Amazon's going to build it out, and ESPN and Disney still have their thing. What about you, Cam?
Wait, and listen to the countries that they're talking about sending it into: Mexico, Brazil, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, and Britain and Ireland. So that's going to be a lot of expansion for the NBA. And not to say that the best players are coming from over there anyway. It's not like we need to give them more secrets. But whoever thought of that idea, it was a great idea.
My personal opinion, you guys, you have anything? Yeah, my personal opinion is shit is confusing where you gonna watch the games at, man. Personally, I was I was looking at it like NBC gets the games after the NFL season on Sunday nights, and then Peacock gets 12 games. I'm not saying the exact games, and then ESPN and Disney still have games. And you kind of alluded to this yesterday, Mase, that it's kind of all over the place. Me personally, if I could get all this shit on NBA, the package pause deal, I'm just going to download the fucking NBA package because it's just too confusing to know if it's coming on Peacock tonight, if it's coming on NBC, if it's coming on Amazon, if it's coming on ESPN. It's a lot of different apps you're going to have to be downloading if you don't have it. So I'm just hopefully, for me, Cameron, that I can just use my League Pass shit and see all the games that I need to see. Because with League Pass, that X's out everything. You just get everything. Now, is the League Pass price going to go up? Probably so, but I'd rather have League Pass and know what the fuck I'm watching and can get every game than trying to download 800 different apps. That's just me personally.
Yeah, and even when it comes to like Delta and airplanes that are showing the games, when you think you got this particular channel on the flight, and now the game is not coming on, that channel is crazy because you're on a flight for like 4 or 5 hours. You was looking forward to this game, and now, oh no, Paul is on Peacock. Now all of a sudden you're like, Delta, get Peacock, or whatever flight you're on. This is gonna be a mess.
Yeah, what they're probably playing on, and I agree with you. They probably like, nigga, get your laptop and we got Wi-Fi, nigga.
Pay for the Wi-Fi.
You got
everybody in on the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Pay for the Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi going up.
Do you guys pay for Wi-Fi on planes?
I just be watching what's on TV.
Yeah.
Most of the time, me personally, sorry, Mase, to interrupt, but me personally, any flight I get on, I just try to stay up all night so I could just go to sleep. I just can't get on a flight if it's more than 2 hours without the bed. Like I gotta shout to Mint, JetBlue, United. I gotta sleep. Them niggas got the bed button paused, so I stay up all night. 2-hour flight, I don't really care too much. I don't know if you pay for Wi-Fi or not.
Oh yeah. It used to be about $39.99, and then
a flight?
Yes.
No, it's like a month. I think it's a monthly pass. That was back in the days. Now I just get it from the people that's flying.
Yeah, you can do it
code?
based on like the amount of hours that you fly, but you can also do like a flight pass. So it's like $8.99 for 2 hours, or it's like $19.99 for the full flight. But I have friends who have a lot of money that will not pay for Wi-Fi on the plane. That's like the last resort for them.
Yeah, people hate that in first class, asking people, yo, what's your Wi-Fi?
It's only one Wi-Fi on the plane. You can't even get no other body Wi-Fi unless you use the hotspot.
Paid for it. They're like, yo, can you give me the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, the code to get on.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys know more than me when it comes to Wi-Fi flights. Mase, you alluded to this a little minute ago. Amazon is trying to recruit the inside the NBA crew. And you mentioned a few things, and I want to get Trista's opinion also. Well, what you think about that?
I think this is when you think about Amazon recruiting the entire inside the NBA staff, I think this is what Barkley was alluding to when he said, I'm probably not going to be doing this anymore. Sometime when you've been great in one place, you just hate changing uniforms. And for them doing all of this stuff with TNT, it probably would look weird for some of them to be on Amazon. It's almost like when a lion comes in, if it's a new lion, you kill all the cubs, you know? Is just a rule of the jungle, you know? But it would be great to see them there. I think they'll make a lot more money because they have to have somebody to anchor this show. If they're going to take over the NBA, they're definitely going to be in need of people like yourself and I, as well as Charles and the rest of them. But with Charles already saying he's probably out, they're probably definitely going to have to look in a new direction.
And Ernie said he was out as well. So that's 2 of the 4. I think Shaq would do it. I think Shaq's the kind of guy.
Shaq and Kenny?
I think Shaq and Kenny would do it. Shaq for sure, because we've seen Shaq in his endorsements. Like, he doesn't mind. He'll stack them up. He has no allegiance to anyone. But the thing that's really interesting to me about the Inside the NBA crew as a whole, say you could get all of them, it's not just their talent that makes the show, and obviously they're a huge part of that, but the producers and that continuity and all of the organization. You talk about the structure of the show, how they help the talent, make them funny, tee them up. That whole production staff would have to go as well. And Amazon doesn't have a lot of experience building shows. So they would have to just gobble them up, and take the whole crew with them in order for it to work.
That mean a pay raise for everybody though. So that's really good. That's really good. I think if Amazon is as rich as I think they are, they can get whoever they want.
No disrespect to anybody on the Inside NBA edition. This one of them joints where like, yeah, nigga, I moved in your house and I'm taking your bitch. If it happens. You know, it's one of them, nigga, Ted DiBiase, everybody has a price.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations to where this is how this nigga's moving around from Amazon. everybody could be bought.
Yeah.
I was going to allude to what you just said, Chris. Ernie said, no fucking way. Barkley, he said he's retiring. But listen, if you tell Charles Barkley, and I can't talk for Charles Barkley, certain niggas, when they say they sitting down, they sitting down. Lennox Lewis said he's retiring, he doesn't come back. It's a few people who really meant it. But if you throwing $50 million around in Charles Barkley's face for, say, give me 20 episodes, nigga. Give me 20 shows. You might could get Charles, because give me an hour for $50 million. An hour, you working 20 hours for $50 million. Are you not going to do it? I don't know. I mean, me personally, I'm going. I ain't telling you can't tell DiBiase now. If you're going to throw it in my face like, yo, nigga, I could buy you, I'm not going to do it. But I'm just talking about in a business sense. It doesn't make sense not to do it if it's a ridiculous amount of money. Also, TNT is also saying that the NBA doesn't understand their contractual rights moving forward with TNT. So TNT seems like they're not going to go quietly with this situation. We'll see what happens in the days and months and years to come, because we still have another year with TNT. Moving on, KCP says the Clipper players were inside the bubble, and even while they were up 3-1, they were ready to go home. What do you think about that, Murder?
This says a lot. I mean, why would they quit when they were up 3-1? The LA Clippers, this is like hallmark for what you guys have stood for. When you think of you guys being up 3-1, this is the closest you guys could have really gotten to getting a championship. I think y'all could have snuck this one, because you could have beaten Denver. Then you would have probably beat LA if you beat Denver. But you guys already wanting to go home, and now you got Paul George, you got Kawhi, and now y'all supposed to gel. And it seemed like throughout all of the years, that was the only time you guys was healthy in the playoffs together. So it's like you didn't take advantage of a real opportunity here, and that opportunity just never came around. And let this be a lesson to everybody else that's watching. When a person doesn't want something, they're not going to be able to help you win. No matter how talented they are, no matter what their giftings are, if they don't want it, you're not going to be able to help them to get it. And I think when you quit in the beginning, it just becomes something easier to do after the next time. So no matter what sport it is, quitters don't win and winners don't quit. And that may be, shout out to OJ, who said I have a grasp on the obvious, because that was the obvious.
They really were not built to be like that, right? And Paul George specifically, because we know Kawhi is built like that. Multiple finals MVP, has multiple chips with multiple teams, but like Pat Bev and JaMychal Green outscored Paul George. Those two guys outscored your guy, Paul George, who came over. You had to give up 4 first-round picks for him. You had to give up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for him. And he was the 5th leading scorer in that Game 7. He wanted out of there, boy. He was 2 for 11 from 3, 4 for 16, 10 points in a Game 7. Man, they must have hated Disney World. Kawhi had only 14 points in that game. Like, that's serious problems. I don't know if you guys remember this too, but Lou Williams, he went out the bubble, went back home for a personal thing. Yes, went to Magic City for the wings.
He had to get the wings.
Had to get the wings. That's what
Come
everybody
on,
says
Trish,
about
you
Magic.
gotta give me your black version. I like this version, but give me the black version of what you just said.
I mean, he went to go see some buns. He was trying to get that cheese, right? Like he went for a little lemon pepper.
Yeah, let's go.
Right? That's what
Let's go.
And that's what happened. And then he was like, oh, but the wings are really good, and I like the music, and it's like a whole little thing. And it's like, you're not a serious person. Like, you're just not, you guys aren't serious people, the whole team. And do you guys also remember, between the wall and the bed, there was like some rumors that Paul George, he basically slept next to his bed and the wall in a fetal position throughout the rest of the bubble? Like, he was just shook. shook one. And so not the kind of guy you want to have as your franchise player. And on top of that, the Nuggets weren't playing that well because Jamal Murray was the only one doing shit. He had 40 points. Jeremy Grant had 14. Gary Harris had 14. Jokic had 16. So it was just Jamal and nobody else. How do you give up? You have your boot on the neck and you're like, no, I'll just go and see some cheeks.
Yeah, the rumor was they couldn't get the thoughts in, so they wanted out.
Oh, you remember Daniel House? He had sex with the COVID tester.
What?
Yeah, Daniel House Jr. He brought the COVID tester in. It was desperate times.
See, I had to get her going.
That's
Something y'all would do.
fact, man.
The blunt.
Yo. Well, let me ask you this, Mase.
Yeah.
And these guys are getting paid tens and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can afford to miss out on a game or maybe a year or two, depending on who you are. If we had to stay in the wind and do this show for 3.5 months, so you couldn't go see your family. Would you not sneak out or would you stay inside of this place for three months and don't leave one time? Honestly.
I'll be like Lil Will. It was the wings. I had to go.
You can't sit still for a week straight.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I'm not giving Lou food. They that's how he got the nickname Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of different stories about the bubble. LeBron James said that was the toughest championship that he got out of all his championships. And we all make fun and these jokes and so on and so forth. But if you got to stay inside one place talking about, yo, it's Disney World, we got a basketball court, you can walk over here, you can do this, but nobody could come in and out, like,
Yeah.
come on, my nigga.
Yeah, that was really crazy.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like the AAU style or like, I don't know if you remember when we played up at Danbury or something like that, Connecticut. It was like a great tournament, but we couldn't go nowhere. And if you don't like the food, you're definitely stuck. It make it the worst experience. Not that Danbury had a bad food, but just thinking about that, I don't know if I could have just stayed in that one location without having no interactivity from outside.
Even with the teammates, like all those, there was a lot of teams in the bubble. You couldn't just go to
Yeah.
the pool, chill, get some room service. They had weed in there.
Yeah, I don't know if people like the other teammates like that. You know, sometimes you think you like people until you sit down and talk with them. You're like, he's really lame. I'm ready to go already. You know what I'm saying? Like you may play a game with somebody and recognize you like, a certain conversation, but it's probably hard.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if I could have done it. To me, it's nothing like Danbury. At least you could go to the store and see somebody.
Yeah.
Or people could be in the crowd and look at you and so on and so forth. Not only that you have to deal with teammates that you may not get along with, you got to deal with other teams that you don't get along with. Yeah. I remember Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell going at it, 50, 45, 50. They was going at it in the bubble. And one game, Jamal Murray, I think he had 50 in the victory, but it was like 2-1. It was still the series going on. And on Jamal Murray's Instagram, he's like walking up while Donovan Mitchell's like eating. He's like, we went at it last night, boy. Donovan Mitchell like, yo, mom, woo, this is a great series. And he like, yo, yeah, it's great. Like, my nigga, I don't want to necessarily see you right now, my nigga. I just want to eat, pause. I don't want to be around you. I'll see you tomorrow when we play tomorrow. Like I said, a lot of people was talking about mental health issues when it was in the bubble. It was a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a lot to think about because when you're isolated, you find out everything about yourself. That's why even in jail, people say it drive them crazy because you're just sitting there by yourself. You have time to think about everything that you either do well or you don't do well or what's pending. And I think for them to be playing basketball in that kind of climate, it did something to people's brain. I think the same thing happened to people in COVID. just you with somebody, but you had time to get away from them, time to go places, you had time to work. And then when people had to sit in the house with each other, they found out they didn't really like each other like that. And that's what the same thing with COVID did for the people playing in the bubble. They recognized, I really don't like this player that much, but when I'm able to go home, I'm able to go on trips, I'm able to go to Dubai, shop, do all these things with the family, and I only got to be with them this time, then it became more doable. But so it was definitely hard to do. And if we had to do this in the winter, I know I couldn't do it. I could try.
Ain't no bitches in the bubble. I'm just going to say that right there, first and foremost. Niggas trying to sneak their girlfriends in. They was testing positive for COVID.
Which one of you two would be the quickest to sneak a girl in?
I'm married, so Cam.
But it could be your wife.
She try to line me up. She definitely tried.
Oh, he's saying, would you try to sneak your wife in? He's saying.
I didn't say. It could have been your wife.
Oh, nah, she wouldn't do that.
I would. You're right. It is me. Because I ain't, look, man, kick me out. I'm not sitting there saying I'm jacking what the Clippers saying, but I understand that shit was probably a lot to deal with. Moving on, Joel Embiid said he's the most hated guy in the league and doesn't understand why fans dislike him. I don't know what there's not to like about me, is what he says. Mase, do you agree that he's the most hated guy in the NBA?
He's up there. He's definitely up there. And I think it's so strange that he's hated the way he is because he gives such high production on the court. And, I mean, when it comes to points, when it comes to just playing in tough games, he never goes missing too much other than when he's playing against Joker in Denver. There's an APB out for you, nigga. We know you don't show up to Denver. But besides Denver, it seemed like he always shows up. So the scrutiny that he get, I think, comes from a lot of his bold statements. When you're bold, you got to be like a boxer. It's not just what you can give, but it's what you can take to learn. It's just the internet. Because I didn't come from that era.
Yeah, there was no internet.
No, there was
no internet. Social media.
Mase, you said your son said, how could y'all believe anything before the internet? It's no proof.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, man.
He called us. What did he call us?
Textbook. Yeah. He said
we asked him if we're
niggas.
OGs. He said, no, y'all are like textbook.
then tried to clean it up and be like, nah, I'm saying. When you go in the book, y'all teaching the lessons. I said, I don't know. Textbooks sound like
sounds like
BC.
Yeah. Like it's pretty limited. Like everything, that's all the information just in that book. It doesn't adapt, nothing else to it. Yep. Right. The 1980s.
But he also says Lil Uzi is his OG.
Oh, God.
I said, oh, my goodness.
And Drake's the triple OG.
And Drake is triple OG.
Yeah.
Players more hated than Embiid. I made a list. I think Rudy Gobert is more hated than
he's definitely
Joel
more
Embiid.
hated.
I think Draymond Green is more hated fan-wise and inside the league than Joel Embiid. I think Pat Bev, especially after all his antics this last season, I think he's more hated. I think Harden, it's a tough one. I think that's like, they're neck and neck. Ben Simmons, definitely more hated than Joel Embiid. Dylan Brooks, definitely more hated than Joel Embiid.
You got a good list.
Grayson Allen, remember he did the trips, punching people in the cojones. He's definitely more hated. But I think the heart of the reason that he's hated is like so many prongs. Like when you dig into it and you're like, why do people feel this way about him? He's a foul baiter. Like that's what he does. He's always trying to get the whistle. That's what he's doing right now in the Olympics. It's not working. He's one of the most skilled, dominant players in the NBA, and he wants the whistle. And people hate players for that. We hate Luka for that. We hate Harden for that. You're just an egregious flopper. Number 2, he plays for Philadelphia. Enough said, right? Like the fan base stinks. They're egregious. They're aggressive. They stink.
You hate Philly?
Like I kind of do. I don't like their fans. I like Philadelphia, the city. Don't like the Philadelphia fans. They turn their backs on people. They're like, we can hate Ben Simmons, but if you hate Ben Simmons, we're coming for your kids. We're coming for your mom. He cries to the media for MVPs. He's always stat chasing. chasing records. I remember last year, he was balling. I remember in the first few months of the season, he was killing it. He would leave at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but only after he scored more than 30 and more than 10 rebounds. Great bet, but he would only leave then. He would wait. It wouldn't matter when. He would always get 33 and 14 or 33 and 12. And then, fourthly, more importantly, he's like a troll. This is what he calls himself, Troll Embiid. Before he had kids, he was always stirring the pot, trying to make people mad. All those together is yeah, I get it. And he's injured all the time when it matters the most. So if you're a fan of him, if you're a fan of the purity of the game, he's an unethical basketball player. Yeah, I get it. I get why people don't like him.
So is he top 5 in your list?
No.
He's not even top 5.
He's top 10 though.
He's top 10 most hated.
Yeah.
All right.
But he's a good dude. If you interview Joel Embiid or talk to Joel Embiid, he's hilarious. I remember interviewing him up at Rucker Park one time, and he was sweating through his white T-shirt.
Yeah.
And you could see his nipples through his white T-shirt.
Hey.
And I said, hey, wow. Joel, we can move the camera up a little bit so all we see is your collar up. And he goes, no, I love my body. I love it. I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. So, yeah, no, he's a good dude, but I understand 100% why fans don't like him.
That nigga be wanting attention, man. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody thinking about you, bro. Yo, I'm the most hated. You think you the most hated, nigga. Nobody. You say all this crazy shit the last few days, and don't get me wrong, we talked about it yesterday. You motherfucking be asked the questions, but you still give the answers like Mase said. Yeah. You can answer something else, but now you the most hated. Stop crying. You always fucking crying, my nigga. And I'm talking about literally too. That time when they lost to fucking Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, bro, you too big to cry with snot coming out your nose, nigga. Yo, the snot cry? Nah, nigga. Nah,
that might be
nigga.
a good scenario.
Yo, my nigga, you always crying. Now you feel like you the most hated. You know what you said all week? I don't know when this phrase came out, but you know what you did all week, nigga. You talked about Braun. Then what was the other shit he did the other day? He just did some shit we talked about yesterday. It's like a back-to-back shit you did.
Talking about J.J. Redick.
Yeah, J.J. Redick. Yo, my nigga.
Then Team USA.
Yeah, I was talking about, nigga, you ain't no way to be a most hated. I like Trish list. She made a great list.
Yeah.
Number one on my list is Ben Simmons, and just for the fact you steal it, and don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at a stick-up kid. You ran off on the plug more than twice. But I'm not mad at it. But at the end of the day, it's just ridiculous for the fans. I seen some shit the other day, nigga talking about he retiring. Yeah. You retiring? yo, we niggas been packed you up, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about? Oh, man, yo, did you hear me? Ben Simmons retiring, murder. Did you hear about it? We don't give a fuck, nigga. You a fashion nigga now, nigga. You come to the side. Last time I seen a nigga, well, not the last time. I seen a nigga in LA, the nigga had the Michael Jackson socks that was on his shoes, the glitter shit. Shit was glittering from across the court. You more of a fashion nigga now. I'm going to go with Ben Simmons, number one. Patrick Beverley, because Patrick Beverley, he's annoying on defense. He's wild annoying. And not only that, Patrick Beverley, it hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
He the nigga that foul you and just break your arm. He broke Russell Westbrook's wrist or some wild shit one time. Russell ain't even know his shit was broke. Then talk shit. He tried to diss Damian Lillard when Damian Lillard missed the free throw. I think it was actually in the bubble. Yeah, nigga tried to do, how's he Dame time? Dame packed you the fuck up too. Sent you home. Playing games with Paul George and y'all two niggas playing games. Dame packed y'all up that year. Joel Embiid, you got to stop this whining shit. What I would do if I was you, stop doing interviews, stop giving takes, focus on the Olympics, and then focus on getting better for the Philadelphia 76ers come up. You're doing too much talking and you're not busting ass. Pause. Not only are you not busting ass, you haven't been winning shit. You won one league MVP, which was well-deserved. You haven't been to a championship yet. Then when we talk about LeBron, Steph Curry, KD, you ain't been to a championship. Has he been to an Eastern Conference Finals?
Nope.
You ain't been to that neither. You got to shut the fuck up and put some more work in. The process ain't processing. Nigga, calm the fuck down. That's my take. You want more. I don't know why you be wanting this attention. You should really not want attention. You already get attention being 7 foot, nappy hair, nigga. And you not producing, nigga. Shut up and win some championships. Then you can make all these, can be as opinionated as you want to be opinionated. Right now, You have no legs to stand on to be opinionated around the niggas that you're around.
Isn't it odd that he's talking so much at a time where it's like very crucial for our country to?
Yeah, that's why we keep telling him it's not the time for this.
Yeah.
Yo, this nigga's committing espionage, treason, all type of shit. You gotta, yo, this is just, you guys, this is
You
not
think
the
he's
time.
selling plays?
Yo, my nigga, that's what I'm telling you.
The nigga might be selling
Yeah,
plays.
that's what I'm telling you. Trying to fuck up the chemistry in the locker
Yeah,
room.
talking about
Coach-
these niggas old.
Yeah, man, yeah. What they did to the Cold Crush.
Said LeBron ain't no
Yeah,
more.
man, I don't like the tension seeking shit he trying to get right now. You not really producing. You not like that, and you just lost to the Knicks, nigga. I'm not saying you wasn't injured and all that, but
Yeah.
listen, you're an outstanding talent. When you're healthy, which is rarely, you could probably be top 5 in the NBA when you're healthy. But we can't get a healthy Joel Embiid, and I think that's what you need to focus on. Your training, your dieting, your load management, however that works for you so that you can end up being healthy throughout the season, being healthy throughout the playoffs, and we can see a Joel Embiid talk the shit that you talking now. Until then, please don't say nothing about LeBron James or Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or anybody with a motherfucking championship that you don't got. You got 3 niggas who just won the championship on your team in your face every day. Them niggas just won the chip, nigga. You talking about I was hurt. They thought you was hurt, nigga. Fuck out of here, man. I got anything else to say because he pissing me off.
and on the list of most hated, how do we forget Russell Westbrook? Westbrook is constantly being harassed, constantly being assaulted. He might be up there too as one of the top hated people in the NBA.
That's a good
Great player, phenomenal player.
Right. And before we go to break, Jamar Chase refuses to say Patrick Mahomes' name when he's asked who's the number 1 player in the NFL. I'm not saying his name. I'm salty. This is what he said. What do you have to say about that, Mase?
We know why he can't say his name. You know how weird that would seem when he goes back around Joe Burrows? Like, yo, who is the number 1 quarterback? He can't say that. He know what he want to say. He want to come to Titletown. It's okay, Chase. Come to Titletown. Is me? Is Pat Mahomes? Is now Boston is taking residence with us? And who knows? We might invite Trysta out. Killer is hating on Titletown, but he's the host today, so we're gonna leave him out of
See
it.
what the coach said yesterday, man. I ain't got to say nothing else. I was going pro if I ain't start rapping, man.
High, Killer. The coach was high.
You can say he ain't the only one who said it, man.
He was high. He was high.
Man,
You know, you're right. You're right about your plan. I'm just saying I can't go with the coach saying he high now.
yeah,
That's why I was quiet yesterday. I didn't want to say nothing. But
now you say that nigga gonna do that to that nigga. And he ain't the only one who said that. I didn't even have to say anything, man. You sound like Jamar Chase, a little salty, man. A little salty, but I ain't even saying nothing. I'm the host today.
Yo,
I'm the host.
No. He said a lot of great things. They were all true, but he didn't tell the whole truth. But
What did he miss?
So help him God.
What did he miss?
Huh?
What did he miss?
He missed a lot, but
Where we want to know what he missed. Can you give us a couple of things?
Just
he
like
missed?
a couple. Just for those who want the full picture, I think we at least.
it was a great show. I can't take anything.
People love
away
that
from it.
show. Yeah.
Love that show.
Well, we just want to know what he missed. Like I want to know. I'm on Trysta side. What parts did he miss out on?
Just hoping for the full story, you know.
Yeah.
He just said that one of the things he said was that he was like I shouldn't have played the old people. If he would have got further into that would have been a great take for people to understand. But it's cool.
Murder Chase, Trish.
No, I personally think it was a lot. I mean, even when people tell the story, they don't tell the story in full. I mean, they don't tell the story like. I mean, you were a great player. I mean, for him to try to. I hate when people try to minimize my contribution. I mean, that's just the truth. 'Cause we didn't get to the Garden with just what you was doing, and I think that is not telling the truth. If somebody says that, that's something that I constantly hate because no matter where I'm at, people try to minimize my production when they know that I really give it up on everything I ever do. And people try to minimize it and say, oh, he just did this. Nah, nigga, I was just as good as you were.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's it.
All right. Trish, what do you have to say?
Well, when I went to the No Way Out tour in '98, I was only coming for Mase. I didn't care about Foxy Brown. I didn't care about Lil' Kim. I didn't care about the Locks. I didn't care about Diddy. I cared about Mase. So I will uplift Mase.
There you go.
In that way. In terms of Jamar and Pat Mahomes, like what a strange rivalry that they have, right? Like it's a fun rivalry. It's probably my favorite non-divisional rivalry. But Jamar Chase probably just doesn't want it. It wasn't that they just asked him who's the number one quarterback. They asked him who's number one, period, end of story in the NFL. And he was just like, I'm not even going to say his name out loud. Like, I'm just not going to. And then you take it back last year when they said, who do you think is going to go to the Super Bowl, AFC, NFC? And he goes, I tell you what, it's not going to be the Chiefs. And not only did they go to the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl. So I just think in general, that rivalry has Jamar feeling some kind of way. Obviously has Joe Burrow kind of acting some kind of way. He looks like a combination between like peak Eminem and like Thong Song Cisco right now. I don't know if you guys saw that photo, but that was like wild. So I mean, in terms of Jamar Chase, it's I think he needs to just produce, and the Bengals need to get healthy, and then we can see them in the AFC Championship again. I think they could. I mean, they're the only team that's beaten Pat Mahomes since Brady. So it's an interesting rivalry for sure.
I think when you say shit like this makes, if I'm Pat Mahomes, I'm laughing more. Like, nigga, I got you not even want to say my name. I'm all in your head. I'm living rent free in your head, nigga. Like, to me, if this was me, I would be so laughing so much. Like, I'm living rent free in your head, pause, my nigga, to the point where you can't say my name. That's crazy. Trish, you made a great point. Who said that it had to be Pat Mahomes? It's a million players in the NFL. You could have said a bunch of people. It didn't have to be Pat Mahomes, but you know Pat Mahomes is number one. So if you said somebody else, then you'd be like, yo, you capping. And I get that as well. That, listen, like I said, Joe Burrow, to me, is probably second best. When he's healthy, he's not always healthy. I think when he's healthy, he could be up there with Pat Mahomes, but I religiously preach on this show, the best ability is availability, and if you're not available, I have to hold you accountable to that too. Because as much as I love Joe Burrow, I'm up here always pumping up Ohio and everything else, but you're not available, and Patrick Mahomes is always available. Even when he's hurt, he's available. Patrick Mahomes is by far the best player in the NBA. Jamar Chase, I get it. I understand it. But if you don't want to say it, it makes you look crazier because you could have went to a defensive player.
You could have gone Aaron Donald for last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could have said that. Exactly, White.
I'm the best player.
Exactly, White. So at the end of the day, listen, man, stop letting niggas live in your head rent-free. I live in a lot of niggas' head rent-free, and I laugh about it all the time, my nigga. It's hilarious. Don't let them do that to you because you look crazy when you on camera talking about it. Before, I know he's about to go to break, but being that we're on this topic, do you think that the Bengals and Chiefs are the best rivalry in the NFL right now, Mase?
Nah, I think the best rivalry in football is probably, to me right now, the Chiefs and gonna be the 49ers.
What do you think, Trish?
I think it's the best non-divisional rivalry. I think when you look at like Bengals-Steelers, I think Bengals-Steelers is the most violent, intense rivalry. There's a ton of different situations over the last 15, 20 years where guys were getting injured all the time. Do you guys remember Vontaze Burfict and his cheap shot on AB? That one was big. Ryan Shazier got injured in a Bengals game. Carson Palmer had to miss an entire rest of the season in a playoff game because they rolled up on him on purpose. So that, to me, is like the most intense rivalry. But I think the thing about the Chiefs and the Bengals, it's like, you know you're not going to see each other 2 times a year. You know you're only going to see each other maybe like in a playoff game or like in a friendly matchup, first game of the year type stuff. And like there's there's stakes, but not like divisional rivalry stakes to the point where fans are getting injured and players are always getting injured. To us, it's like, or to me, it's like kind of like, oh, this is like a child's play rivalry, like a cute, like both up and coming Super Bowl contender rivalry.
What do you think about Philly and the Cowboys?
Yeah, that's an intense rivalry too. I think the NFC East as a whole has a bunch of nasty rivalries. And if the Commanders ever fuck around and get good again, that'll be a real rivalry with the Cowboys as well.
For me, it's not two teams. I just think the AFC North in itself is just competitive every single year down to the wire, depending on who's healthy, depending on who's not healthy, depending on record. I love that competition in the AFC North. And for those who don't know exactly who's in the AFC North, it's Pittsburgh, it's Cincinnati, Cleveland, and the Ravens. I love that division a lot because even though it's looking like the Ravens 1 year, then it could be Cincinnati if Joe Burrow is healthy, then Mike Tomlin some type of way always makes it to over 500 and he might sneak into the wild card spot. I love that division a lot. So I wouldn't put two teams right now. I can't think of two teams that are old school rivalries like the Cowboys and the Redskins back in the days or anything compared to that. But I would say that division is really intense. Okay, we're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. My stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. We're about to get into our underdog fantasy picks. Mase, week 1, Cardinals versus the Bills. Josh Allen, 244.5 passing yards, higher or lower?
Higher.
Kyler Murray, 36.5 rushing yards, higher or lower?
36.5. I'm gonna go lower.
I'm gonna go lower as well. We got to see what he looks like. Hopefully he'll come back good. And James
be running out, get hurt again.
And James Cook, 71.5 rushing yards, higher or lower?
I'm gonna go higher.
I'm gonna go lower. Make sure to download the Underdog Fantasy app and subscribe to the show. Now, Aaron Rodgers gets the lowest ranking of his career. What do you guys think about that with the future Hall of Famer?
I think this is exactly what I stated when we first opened the show at the top of this year or in the top of football season, talking about New York football. Like, you could lose everything in a season when it comes to New York because the media is so strong. He went from beloved to, oh my goodness, we got Aaron Rodgers, to now he's just slipping down the rankings because New York media, I think people don't know how strong that media is. If you do well there, the status that you could reach by doing well in that New York media goes so much further than other cities other than LA. So when you're declining in New York, it seemed like an even more decline because you're doing it in one of the biggest media outlets there is. So I think this, I wish him well, but it's not looking that good because everybody around him, all the teams around him has gotten better. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be enough by himself. Like, just being honest with what I've been looking at, he won't be enough by himself with that team.
Yeah, I mean, Father Time happened. He's going to be 41. He has like a half of an Achilles, right? He hurt his Achilles on the third play of the fucking game.
Yeah, 3
F-bomb,
snaps.
there it is. Fucking game. Anyway, no, Father Time's been catching up with Aaron Rodgers. Remember, before he went to the Jets 2 years ago with Green Bay, he was 8-9. He had 26 TDs, second most interceptions in his career with 12. He had the lowest QB rating of his career, 91.1. And on top of that, you talked about earlier, Mason, I wanted to bring this up, but I wanted to wait for this segment, is the pandemic is fucking people up. And I think the pandemic broke his brain. He became like a crazy conspiracy theorist. He starts going on Joe Rogan. He starts going on these ayahuasca trips. Like, he's doing that all the time. He's flying off to Egypt with him and his buddies and not telling anybody. Like, it's just not the same guy, and his off-the-field proclivities, his interests are overriding all the shit that got him there. And then you add that to the fact that his offensive line right now is very suspect. He doesn't have the same type of weapons that he had in Green Bay before, even though he has Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson's really good. He has Breece Hall, but let's be honest, the Packers have a better wide receiver core right now. He's in for it. He's 41 years old, not a great offensive line, not a great weapon, and like, I don't think the media likes him. So I'm not surprised that he's in the 80s in terms of the top 100 at all.
Well, what's wrong with Joe Rogan and going to Egypt every now and then?
Well, Egypt's fine, but like, he's just, when you formulate and add all the things that he's talking about, like, you can, I'm not even gonna like get into his conspiracy theories, but like things that definitely happened, factually happened, he's like, I don't think they actually happened. He's like a flat earther or like a 9/11 truther, or like, remember he was gonna be the vice president elect for RFK Jr. Like, you can have all that. You can have all that. That's fine. But like, you also have to produce on the field as well. And I don't think that those interests are really helping one another.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's put up or shut up season for Aaron Rodgers. I don't really have much to say about it. We'll see what happens. You got to put up. You in New York, man. Steph Curry on if he'll stay with the Golden State Warriors his entire career. He said, I'll make the best decisions for me and my career. At the end of the day, I want to win. Do you think, two-part question, do you think Steph will stay with Golden State his entire career? And did the Warriors do enough in this offseason to make him happy?
I think he'll be a Warrior his entire career, but I do not believe they did enough to make him happy in this offseason, because there's so many things they could have done. They could have gotten DeRozan. They should have made some type of move to show that they really want this to be a better team. I was always a believer that Poole didn't work in no other system, because this is that system he works in. Even with everything that went wrong, I felt like if they would have brought Poole back, it would have even had him thinking like maybe we could get that kind of team back and go for a run, because they're missing one explosive player, because Stephen Curry is that explosive that if you add him to one more explosive person, it automatically just changes the West to me, to my vantage point, because I've seen it happen so many times. And Steph is becoming like Floyd to me. Until you prove me wrong about this, this is what I believe. Not that it can't change, but until I see it, I don't believe it. And I think they could have done so much in this offseason, even trading players to get a higher pick. There was two game-changing people in the draft. I think there were two people in there that we knew were game-changing, and they did nothing to go after it.
Yeah, I don't think they did enough. I don't think they have been doing enough. I mean, you take that back to when they drafted James Wiseman, and Steve Kerr is still saying, to this day, I didn't think Anthony Edwards was going to be very good. Like, I saw him, and I wondered about his work ethic. Like, you should probably stop saying that out loud, because you look really dumb. Like, Bob Myers consistently took guys that maybe weren't the best fits to surround Steph Curry. You see Klay Thompson coming off of an ACL, coming off of an Achilles tear, and then you don't bolster guys around him. And Steph is just such a nice guy and has so much loyalty to a team where he's won so many championships that he's not putting the same type of pressure on the organization that, say, a player like Giannis did. Giannis, every year, he'll go out and like to talk to GQ or New York Times and be like, yeah, if we're not competing, I'm out of here. And that's why the Bucks went out and got Damian Lillard last year and had to make those types of moves. Now, this is Steph Curry's first Olympic cycle. So this is his first time being around other stars that have left teams because their team wasn't surrounding them with the type of talent that they need. And this is the first time Steph Curry is like, hey, I don't want to be at the bottom of the barrel. And this is a business. Klay Thompson's gone, and I'm not going to sit here and know that we're not going to compete. So I don't think he's going to stay here for the rest of his career, even though that would be a nice storybook ending. And I certainly do not believe that Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton, who's got a bad back, and Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield, by the way, low IQ player. And that was what happened with Kelly Oubre as well, if you guys remember. Kelly Oubre was a nightmare player for the Warriors, and I could see Buddy Hield being exactly the same.
And you know what's interesting about what we're talking about is that you're right, that all these players he's around is starting to talk to him and say, you know what, are you standing? Or they just got to ask the question, are you standing in Golden State? And he's starting to think like, you know what? And I think Golden State will come around and do everything necessary to get him to stay. That's why I said that. So when I said that, it was not negating what you're saying, isn't with that inclusive that once that talk get louder, they'll start making the moves necessary. Sometimes it takes people to just be like, you know what, I'm not going to be here losing.
And you're right, because like an hour after that Twitter post came out, it was like, report, Warriors front runners for Lauri Markkanen. It's like, yeah, I bet you guys are now. I bet you are.
Yeah.
They gonna win with that team.
Yeah.
That team right there. And if Steph is saying he wants to win, y'all better figure it out. Contracts coming up, I believe, at the end of this year, if not the end of this year, the end of next year. And if that man is telling you he wants to win, that is not the team that's gonna win. And Trish, you made a great point. You're around people that's won after they left the original team that they were at. So you start talking to them niggas and be like, shit ain't as bad as you think it is, my nigga. Like, I know you want to stay home and be one of them, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant ass niggas, but we still getting them chips and that money, man. Let's so we'll see what happens. But I will say I don't think that the team that he's on right now win any championships as it's assembled right now.
Did you see, since he's gone to the Olympic squad, he has 2 photos on his Instagram page, and it's just him and Bron. Like, just him and Bron, like, on the court, him gushing about him. When he threw that lob to Bron in that Canada Team USA game that was here, he, like, freaked out when the reporter asked him about it. He got giddy. He was like a small child. He's like, oh, I'm so glad that you asked me about that. Like, me and Bron have this amazing chemistry on the court. They want to play together. It's just a matter of whether they want to push all the buttons to do it.
I think after Klay Thompson and he's seeing what's going on, now he wants to play with Bron. Bron been trying to play with him for a long time, whether he had to go to the Lakers and he didn't want to leave Golden State or whatever. I remember Bron asking this question about Steph Curry 3-4 years ago. Steph Curry had to get the fuck out of here face. Niggas is getting older. Klay Thompson is gone. The writing's on the wall at Golden State. Bob Myers is in. Bob Myers is out. Dunleavy is in. He may not necessarily even like that nigga now. Now he posting you and Bron. Just figure it out. Might be too late for that combo. I'm not saying it is. I'm not on no Joel Embiid shit. But the West is loaded, and there's some niggas that want to prove they self. So I'm not sure. Look, man, it was fun having you up here, Trish. Make sure you come back and see us again soon. Let the people know the name of the shows they can look out for you on.
Yep. Heat Check is my NBA podcast. Find that on wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. BetMGM Tonight, Monday through Friday, 7 to 11 Eastern Standard Time, betting show, sports betting show. And then on Instagram at TRYSTA_KRICK. That's where the unadulterated hot shots come in.
All right, thank you, Tris, man. Look, tomorrow's our last day of the season. We're going to have some fun up here. It's going to be a real good time. Pause. And thank you again for joining. It is what it is. Salute, nigga.